Yes, people, welcome back to Brendan Pearson Fitness. Today, I'm going to walk through a functional bodybuilding upper body session, a different way of training to be more time efficient and also get a very good, effective session in. Now today, like I said, we're going to be running through a simple upper body routine that I'm going to be hitting. This is going to be a little bit more of an overhead dominant session, focusing on our overhead pressing. Within your training, you should have specific goals, and overhead pressing is going to be one of the things that I want to work on. The way that we're laying it out can be taken and obviously put into different contexts. If you want to focus on bench press, same for your lower body. If you want to focus on your squats, your deadlifts, whatever it is, take the methodology behind the way that I'm laying out my training and put it into whatever your goal is within each individual session. So we're going to start off. There is 4 different sections, 4 different areas that we're going to work through within the session. Obviously, a warm-up is going to be self-explanatory. That's going to always be part of it. Maybe do a little bit of light conditioning. I sometimes do 20 calories on the ski or the assault bike. I do a greater stretch, some walkout, a little bit of stretching, whatever I need to get done on the day. Make sure you're primed and prepped to get into the session. Starting off, we do have some additional prep work / bodybuilding work. Now, if you've followed me for a while, you know I'm a little bit taller, I'm 6'5", so I like to do some isolation movements before I start my sessions. On my leg days, I do my leg extensions and hamstring curls just to warm my joints up, and I also find I feel a little bit better going into them big movements. So for today, we have 3 rounds of a little circuit to start off with. We have 20 incline wire raises to get the shoulders prepped for them overhead pressing. Make sure we're getting the rotator cuffs warmed up as well. Then we're moving into some arm isolations. We have 20 dumbbell bicep curls and 20 dual cable tricep push downs. I'm in a little bit of a higher volume rep block at the minute, so my isolation movements are sets of 20. As I go through each phase, the weights are going to get heavier, the reps are going to start dropping, but for now we're in that high rep block to start off with. So just to warm up the elbow joint, warm up the biceps, the triceps, so we're nice and primed and prepped, and also get a little bit of bodybuilding, because if you are taller like myself, we need to grow them guns a little bit more. They don't grow as much. So that is going to be 3 rounds, just back to back, going through at our own pace. Again, just picking weights that are going to be pretty tough. The last set, we should be going all the way to failure. The last round through should be all the way to failure on each movement. Then we move into our strength block. Strength's a big thing that I want to work on. Again, depending on what you're prioritizing. If you're prioritizing a little bit more higher volume stuff, then do some higher volume work in the strength block. But if strength is a goal of yours, then drop the reps down. Today, in the first block of training that I programmed for myself, we are building to a heavy set of 5 push press. Push press is something that I haven't really done for a long time, so I'm wanting to really work on it. The first block of my training is sets of 5, so we're building up to a set of 5. This is my 3rd week of the program, so I've already increased the weight about 5 kilograms since the first week. Each week should be slowly trying to progressively overload. The first week of my program, we were at RPE 6 or 7, then we went up to a 7 or 8. Today should be an RPE of about an 8 or 9, so we're getting close to that 5 rep max on push press. Then we'll probably take about 8 to 10 minutes to build to that 5 rep max. Then we're going to go into some accessory movements to help complement that strength movement. So again, like I said before, I'm in a higher rep block, so all my strength supplementary movements are going to be sets of 15. We've got 3 sets of 15 strict presses. We're going to be having 2 minutes rest in between them. Again, strength, we want to make sure that we're pretty much fully recovered before we go into the next set. So 3 sets of 15. And then to make sure we're balancing our pushing and pulling, obviously we're working overhead today. We have 3 sets of 15 pull-ups. Again, 2 minutes rest in between each set on that one. Again, trying to build up to that last set is all out to failure. If I need to, I'll probably do this one assisted. 3 sets of 15 pull-ups is quite tough body weight for me, so I'll be using the assistance on the cable. So that one, I'll show you how I set that up. Then we move on to a bit more volume. So this is kind of like hypertrophy / volume work, just to get a little bit more volume and also tick the boxes to the muscle groups / movements that we haven't hit already in the session. So how we're working it is every 90 seconds, we're going to do a different exercise, similar to how people run EMOMs, but obviously this one's going to be 90 seconds to allow for a little bit more recovery time in between each exercise. So for the first 90 seconds, we have 15 dumbbell bench press. Again, sticking to that theme of 15 reps on this one. Then for the next 90 seconds, we're going to go into 15 lateral raises. I'll probably do this one set up on the cables just because it's a little bit more efficient. There's a little bit more time with the tension on that one. And then for the last 90 seconds, we're going to be doing 15 incline dumbbell rows, really emphasizing that upper back, that thoracic movement to get the upper back working. We've hit an overhead pull there. We're going to hit a horizontal pull now. Again, 3 rounds through that. I forgot to put times 3, so it's 3 rounds of that one. Then a little bit of condition. We always like to finish with something that gets us feeling good and also works the condition within our sessions. Today, because my clients this month are going to be doing a 1K ski time trial, I thought I'd jump in and give it a test my go, see what I can get on the ski for a K. Yeah, I'm hoping for, I don't know, maybe sub 3:30 maybe. I don't know, we'll see what we can get. That's just going to be a nice little finish here, obviously making sure I'm getting a couple of minutes rest before I do that. all out max effort, see what we can get. And then later on today, I've got a bit of zone 2 running to get in. That's part of my program. But this is how we are setting up our upper body session. This is upper body session 1 of the week. I do have an additional upper body session later in the week, but this is my overhead focus session. Like I said, you could swap out if you want to do lower body, swap out these for maybe some hamstring curls, leg extensions, calf raises, Copenhagen planks, whatever you need to do. Then your strength could be squats, could be deadlifts, it could be supplementary movements, could be front squats or box squats for your squats, could be rack pulls or deficit deadlifts for deadlifts, whatever you need to do. Then you could put split squats within the volume work, could be 15 reps on the left side for split squats, 15 reps on the right side split squats, and then maybe 15 RDLs or 15 hip thrusts or something like that in there. And then your conditioning could be a little 5-minute AMRAP on the assault bike or a little circuit, whatever you want, just 10 minutes maybe max to finish off, feel good and get that heart rate going. This type of training does get your heart rate going. It kind of integrates strength and conditioning, makes you feel good rather than typical bodybuilding splits, which yes, are more efficient in terms of building muscle. However, if you want to feel good, if you want to get that condition aspect, if you want to work on overall health rather than just building muscle, then this is the way forward, and this will get you looking good as well as feeling good, and burns a few more calories so you can have more food, which is ideal. But we'll jump straight into the session. I'll do a quick little run through of it. Yeah, that is how to lay the session out. It's really good, time efficient, probably get it done in just over an hour, maybe around an hour. I'll stick a timer on so you know how long it takes. And yeah, let's get cracking. So like I said, we're starting today's upper body session off with a little 3-round circuit, starting off with some incline plate Y raises. The reason we're doing this is again just to get everything warmed up behind the shoulder, a little bit of rotator cuff work, everything at the posterior of the upper back and shoulder, just so we're primed for them overhead presses. Dumbbell bicep curls, you can see that I'm using an incline bench on this one just to keep me locked in. I have got a dumbbell on the bench and also a dumbbell in front of the bench which doesn't go flying, but just to keep me locked in. Working the biceps in a little bit more of a shortened range, and then we're on to tricep push downs with a dual cable. Again, keeping the elbows relatively tucked in. Working the triceps in the shortened range, 20 reps on each of these exercises just to prime us and warm us up a bit more. For our upper body movements, you can see here I'm stretching off my wrist just because wrist injuries have been a thing in the past for me, obviously being a goalkeeper with football, and we have some strict pressing. So make sure if you're doing any front squats, strict pressing, anything with a barbell to warm your wrists up. Then we're moving on to our push presses. Obviously you can see I'm having to do it outside and from the floor here because I am too tall to obviously do it in my garage. But we're just warming up here, just 40 kgs in the bar. Take your time with these strength warm-ups. Do not kill yourself. One of the big mistakes that people make when warming up for heavy presses or heavy squats or whatever you're building up to a 5-rep max, 3-rep max, is killing themselves in the warm-ups. So I just did a couple of sets with a bar, a couple of sets with 40, and then we are building up to, I think it is 75. And I had an absolute nightmare on this session. I didn't hit what I wanted. I think it was 75 on the bar what I had programmed, and I completely failed it today. It just wasn't my day. Then we moved on to 67.5, I think, or maybe 70, and it wasn't going my way again. You can see I had it on my bar. I had the bar on my back. I think this was rep number 3 or 4 I was going for here, and yeah, just wasn't my day at all. Never mind, we dropped to, I think, the weight from last week, which I think was 67.5 or maybe 70, I can't remember. I think that's 67.5. On the bar, we managed to get our 5 reps, making sure on this one that we're just popping from the knees, driving straight up, keeping our core sucked in, glutes engaged. Overhead work is one of my weaknesses. I really need to get used to doing this after bodybuilding for, 9 months. Prior to obviously getting back into functional fitness, I did no overhead pressing at all. So it's something that I really need to work on, and I did it eventually got the 5 reps. Then we moved on to our accessory work or additional strength work. Obviously, like I said, I'm in a 3 sets of 15 higher rep block at the minute, so we did strict press. Just got 32.5 kg on the bar here. Same thing as this one, making sure that we're driving straight up, pushing our head through as we lock out at the top. You can see my back staying nice and flat. We're not rounding. On the final set here, I had to rest pause it. I only got 12 reps. Rested 10 seconds, and then I finished my set off at 15. So if you program yourself a set of 15, make sure you complete that set of 15. If it's something that's a rep range and obviously you're working to failure within that rep range, then you can obviously stop at whatever number you hit within the rep range. If you don't hit it, I always like to rest pause it to make sure I'm doing it. This is how I set up my pull-ups in my home gym, my assisted pull-ups on the cables. I just use this, or this is actually a belt for weighted pull-ups. I use that and attach it either side of the cables, and I can obviously just stick some weight on the pins either side and use it for assisted reps. Making sure on this one that we are driving those elbows back, keeping that chest high, not letting the shoulders round, which a lot of people do on pull-ups. So we're working a lot of upper back as well as lats on this, so just a wider grip
variation, sort of the similar grip that I would take from my overhead press. Again, 3 sets of 15 with 2 minutes rest in between that, so plenty of rest. Now we're moving on to the every 90-second little upper body circuit. You see I use an app called Interval Timer for this one, so I get a 90-second recurring timer. First exercise is dumbbell bench press, again sticking with the theme of 15 reps, making sure my elbows aren't flaring too wide. Little tip for this one, slightly rotate the dumbbells inwards to keep the elbows in, so if you're someone who flares their elbows too much, then that's a little tip here, just to keep the elbows a little bit more tucked in, almost like when you're doing your barbell bench press and you're almost thinking about bending the bar, keeping that in. And obviously it's a convergent path, so you're going from wide to in, and that's how to properly unrack dumbbells. Do not drop them down from the bottom, make sure you go straight arms at the top and then lean forward. Then for our lateral raise movement, when cuffed lateral raise, again, just because there's a little bit more time and tension compared to a dumbbell lateral raise where there's only really weight at the bottom. For the first few sets, I think I got the 15 on the second pin down. I had to drop to the bottom pin for the last set. Again, cheating a tiny bit, using a bit of momentum, but it was the last round of the circuit, so it was quite tough. Using the cuffs against it so we don't have to use our grip, and it also takes a little bit of pressure off the elbow joint, placing the force a little bit higher up the arm. This is how I set up my incline chest presses, to get a little bit more thoracic movement, so upper back movement. This is a thing I learned off James Sutton when I was working with him in the bodybuilding world for 9 months. Just a little bit of extra support for the chest. We're thinking about almost letting our shoulders round a little bit, our upper back round at the bottom, and driving our elbows backwards, and really trying to get as much flexion from the shoulder blades and also the thoracic spine, so the upper back at the top. Again, 15 reps on this one, 3 rounds of all of them, and it did kill me off quite a bit. It is quite tough, that sort of circuit where it's continuous, trying to lift as heavy as possible. And then finishing the session, the session up to that point was it took it exactly an hour, and that was with all the fails on push press and a bit of rest in between. And then the final thing to finish, 1K ski 4 times. So this absolutely killed me off. My triceps were fried going into this, and that was the one thing that really let me down. My triceps were gone, and we got a half decent time, and it did kill me off.
Is it dead?
Trust me, my triceps were on the verge of death anyway, but decent time, 3 minutes 15.5.
I've had an absolute nightmare. First of all, didn't put the camera in, and then second, I didn't even press record. So much that ski's done me in. But yes, very, very good upper body, functional bodybuilding session. That's how I lay things out. Training at the minute, Monday is a legs squat-based movement. So barbell squat, that's what I'm really working on. Front squats, alternating. Week 1's going to be box squats, second week's front squats, alternating between the two. Then Tuesday, session like today, working on my overhead presses, working on my pull-ups. Wednesday's usually an active recovery day, maybe some light CV if I feel good, rower, bike, and then a 30-minute sauna. That's non-negotiable. Thursday's a deadlift focused day with a little bit of back sprinkled in, a few lunges and stuff as well. So nothing too crazy on the legs, but mainly deadlift focused stuff. Friday, we have our bench focus day, really focused on my bench press, kind of like a push day, a little bit of back and arms sprinkled in as well. And then my Saturday is a big conditioning session, running, rowing, ski, bike, sled pushes, burpees, just what you can, just about 90 minutes of conditioning, a little bit of zone 2 with a lot of high intensity stuff, and then maybe a little bit of zone 2 to finish off. So yeah, a bit of a hybrid, kind of a high rock style of stuff, because I should really be training towards that. However, I'm enjoying this functional bodybuilding style of training at the minute. If you enjoy it as well, I'm going to give you another chance. Like I said in the last video, if you message me with the word athlete or comment down below with the word athlete, I am creating a functional bodybuilding hybrid sort of style approach. Bit of bodybuilding, bit of CrossFit functional fitness, sprinkled into one style of program to get you strong, get you fit, feel good, and move good as well. Mobility as well is a big part of it. So if you're interested, that program will be coming out very soon, and it'll be a monthly subscription based thing, so it'll change every single month. So yeah, first month free if you message me athlete. But this sort of style of training, I wouldn't say bodybuilding, strict bodybuilding is dead. I've got a massive respect for bodybuilders. Obviously, you put a lot of time into it. It's a long, hard grind. Obviously, if you're building up to a show, you're probably taking 2 years off season to build to a show. The training, obviously, you're focusing on progressive overload, building muscle, your rest periods are a little bit longer. Whereas this style of training, you get that endorphin release a little bit more, you burn a few more calories, and you feel a lot better for it, and you can kind of keep that lean physique all year round. Your calories can go up a little bit, you allow for a little bit more food because you're burning more calories, you're working harder, and I think you feel better. It's just the transition over to full CrossFit, which I'm not a full CrossFit by any means. The transition over to full CrossFit, there's a lot of risk with injuries, wrist injuries, lower back injuries, knees getting blown out, ankles getting blown out. So I like to hybrid the two with the control of bodybuilding, where you can control each movement, that mind-muscle connection, working on actually building muscle and not putting too much pressure on joints. and then taking little bits from CrossFit, like the conditioning aspect, that feel-good aspect, then endorphin releases at the end of the sessions, just combining it too for longevity, for building muscle, for looking good and feeling good. But yeah, I'm rambling a bit. Post-workout endorphins kicking in. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like, comment, subscribe as always. And if there's any videos you want me to do in the future, any topics, then let me know. And I'm going to get a run in my new Hockers. I'm going to take them out for a little bit of zone 2 running this afternoon after I get some food, rest up, and then evening clients. But as always, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.